Desde el hondo crisol de la patria se levanta el clamor popular, ya se anuncia la nueva alborada, todo Chile comienza a cantar, recordando el soldado valiente, cuyo ejemplo se hiciera inmortal. Enfrentemos primero la muerte, traicionar a la patria más. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Campesinos, soldados y obreros, la mujer de la patria también, estudiantes, empleados, mineros, cumpliremos con nuestro deber, sembraremos la tierra de gloria, socialista será el porvenir, todos juntos haremos la historia, a cumplir, a cumplir, a cumplir. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer. Venceremos, venceremos, mil cadenas habrá que romper. Venceremos, venceremos, al fascismo sabremos vencer.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that my audio levels are good. And sabemos. All right. This is sort of an odd stream because there's a lot I want to cover. I was going to do an update yesterday, but there's this very tenuous system that I set up concerning the archivist drones. If you've been following, development, you know what the archivist drones are. I should turn up my audio just a little bit more because I'm not completely. Oh no, actually no, I'm right into yellow, so I should be okay. Give me a moment. Give me a moment over here. I'm going to see if I can advertise this over in our Discord. No one's going to show up, but who knows? Maybe somebody. Give me a moment. Yeah, you too. I've gone over why I use a Chilean socialist song to open these streams dozens of times before. I don't think I need to go into it again. But let me just see content. Shorts live. Here we go. Oh, there it is. There's me right there. No viewers. All right. No, hold on. It looks like we have one viewer. It might be me for all we know. If you are somebody, if you're not me, please let me know. I just want to grab the link so I can save. Let's see. Announcements. I'll just do it in general discussion. Okay. Eat YouTube. Yeah, I'll probably lose some people. I mean, I did two gentlemen. Boy, let me tell you, I forget how long it's been since I did one of these. I think the last one I was doing was sort of a just doing some graphics and me grousing about a self-appointed police and playing every day. I try to restrict myself to 2 short RimWorld Let me. It's you gotta be, uh, you know, very. Let's see here. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot I want to cover. So what I should do is just really address, the monster in the room. Um, we are about 7 days out from what is the eighth anniversary of me starting the game, work on the game back in 2017 on a Saturday when I was, working, when I was off of work at Ananias. And I just realized I did not bring myself something to keep my mouth lubricated. I'm not used to talking. I will be right back. This is typical Grandpa Eric. I'll be right back. And by the way, if anybody is watching, please join in the discussion. This isn't just me talking at you. I would really like to hear from you, people who might be watching. And usually we have no people show up for these. So again, I think I may be shouting right into the void. But either way, I will be right back. Give me a moment, and we're going to go back to this picture of Liz, which I think is a good place that we need to start off with. Okay, it looks like our viewership is as lively as ever. No one in the chat, probably nobody watching, and that's absolutely fine. 0-0. But um, hmm, what I what I should really go into first is Liz passed away, and pardon me if I get a little bit emotional about this as a 55-year-old man, but I think I have permission. Um, Liz, a cat that we adopted in 2011, passed away um, this last Friday. Not this last Friday, but the Friday before. She we had her for and well, I will go. She is a cat that really you take control of. At the very beginning of the game. I mean, at the beginning of the game, you see Lizzie hasn't had the best of days, and um, yeah, she did not have the best of days that day. But she was ill, and it never gets easy. Is all I could say. Um, um, and that was last Friday. And can I just say, before Liz passed away, we were on Target. Understand what we have right now is our to-do list. I think I have it on my Google Docs. Let me just bring up that. I could just show you. I don't mind showing you. Really, what we have to do left box to-do list. Our goal every time is to just boil the list of stuff that needs to get done. I take care of 90% of what is on the list, and then we're moving on to the next phase. And I believed that we were on target to get, because really at that point, I think the last time I checked into our to-do list, we had, let me see, just going to say fix follow. that's actually done as best as we can. So let me just check over here. Jeez, actually, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically 28 items, and we only had to get 17%, 17 of them done to reach the 90% threshold. But and that was, again, I think. Let me check my calendar here. And by the way, we recently updated to Windows 11. I have that's why you're seeing the activate Windows down there. I need, but yeah, she. Let's see, Friday. So yeah, she passed away on the last day of October. Yeah. Anyway, and like I said, it never gets easier. But anyway, and so as a result, from Friday, what happened on Friday, that really didn't get me in much of a working mood, can I say? Um, Anybody who wants to, I mean, anybody who has lost a pet knows, and it's absolutely bio. It's mentally. If you lose a 60-year-old pet, it is likely you've lost your 60-year-old child, psychologically, et cetera. It's physically. And can I just say, losing Lizzie was not. It did not put me in the best of mood. But here's the thing: is because understand that this game is how Lizzie will live on, hopefully for a very long time. So I said I owe it to Lizzie to get back to work. So uh, um, I she passed away on Friday the 31st, and um, I took it easy Saturday because I know. I mean, the last time I went through this, it took me a couple of days, and I mean, I had to give myself a full day off. But the next day, I went back to work, just doing a little bit of like really steady, uh, just basically text revisions. In fact, I could show you exactly what. Like I said, if I haven't said this before, um, and I think I have, there are a lot of things in the game that are like sort of like red herrings that are in there for people who may have been thinking, "Oh, this is that may have been trying to steal our thunder or anything." And I just am still going through and removing bits, those irrelevant art and red herrings. So yeah, on Saturday I was able to fix a synthetical article. Previous one was let me. So magazine maybe it'll. But yeah, let's. Oh yeah, Synthetica. Here we go. Just sort of because, like you say, we wanted to make all of the articles within the game be pertinent to stuff that is specifically done. Here's the last article I did. Photoshop, Photoshop. I did. It's literally just copy and paste the people in there, like a kiosk image from a Comic Con. But heck, you'll see. But anyway, I was able to get this done, and I got work done on. Let me see another recent. Yeah, this one. Anyway, so yeah, I got to work on just formatting and fixing a couple things. Oh yeah, I also fixed this one thing. I was shocked to see that they created a different one for text. No, I didn't. Okay, that's weird. But yeah, I fixed. Jeez, I fixed another book. Anyway, you'll see. There's just so much stuff in the game. I fixed a couple. Just stuff that I was able to get back to work. But here's the thing. Let's go back to a calendar. really quick. Let's just open up our Google Calendar. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, let's just go. So let's see here. We had yeah, you'll see that I have an appointment with my doctor. Let's see. I think if anybody considers that to be exciting, please go right ahead. Let's see. So yeah, it was the next month, November. So it was Saturday I took off, and then Sunday I went to bed, and I felt a little bit ill. The next day I felt even worse, and I couldn't sleep. And the third day, I was apparently it fit all of the symptoms of an ulcer. And on Tuesday, that's election day here in the United States. I was literally so weak, I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep. That I tried to go and vote, but I couldn't get to the end of the block. I felt like I had aged, like, I mean, I'm in my 50s, but let me tell you, you spries out there that think you get old at this age. Actually, no. I feel basically like I felt sort of like when I was back in my, my early 40s, maybe late 30s. Anyway, let's go on from that. Yes, I'm old. Anyway, um, so really, Liz passed away Friday. I got a little bit work done on Saturday, and this was just like simple stuff because I didn't want to think too much. Uh, then I was sick until about Wednesday. Wednesday, I had a turnaround, and I was able to. Basically, what happened was on Monday, I don't know, on Tuesday morning, I basically realized sort of what was going on, and I put myself on a diet of just broth, just weak soups, and stuff like that. And why is Grandpa Eric talking about his health? Because here's the thing. Because between Liz's death and trust me, there was a lot. Even though I was home prior to her passing away, there was a lot of time spent worrying and trying to take care of her. But because of that and my subsequent illness, we lost a full week. And that sort of sucks because I really wanted to be able to say we have reached 90% on this list and we are ready to show off what we have. Uh, you know, um, but the thing is, you can't, unfortunately, bad stuff never happens at a good time. Bad news never comes at a good time, and good news never comes likewise with good news. Uh, it's always unpredictable. There was this a song by Dead Can Dance I had going through my head the weeks up to Lizzie's passing. It's fortune presents gifts not according to the book, and yeah. Anyway, um, so unfortunately, I'm going to be doing a Patreon update tomorrow. Hey, we have somebody talking to me. Hi. Hey, Tom, I hope you're still here. It's nice to talk to somebody and know that they're here. Um, but anyway, after that, if and I just announced it on my personal Facebook and via our Discord. We yesterday, no, 2 days ago, Laura and I went out because if you don't under, I mean, we adopted Liz the day after my first female cat passed away. She died very young at 10. Um, and I did what it was. The thing is, it wasn't a matter of replacing. It was, of course, you can't replace a cat, any more than you could replace a child. I mean, there are always cats that need homes, and I felt the best testimony to, Girlie's. That's what I called her, Girlie. Um, Girlie's life was to adopt a new cat, and that was Liz. Um, and so what we did is, let's see, open I think this is my photo. Yeah, I do. 2 days ago, we adopted a Opal here. Um, she's 3 months old, and so really, the last 10 days have been actually 2 weeks total have been Liz getting sicker and sicker, and then passing away. We going through that, then me getting. I mean, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital at one point. I mean, it reminded me of appendicitis, which I had, with where your body is just telling you something. There's just something fundamentally wrong. And yeah, yeah, I lived on basically, flavorless yogurt and soft cookies, cake cookies, for about 2 days, and after that, I made a recovery, and I was able to. But and like I said, 2 days ago, we adopted her, and she is just wonderful. She looks actually like like a mix between um, Liz's, tortoiseshell, and Burley. She was a gray tabby, and, but she also has, I mean, a little black. She's a very much just a canvas. It was kind of weird. She is growing like visibly every day. I mean, since we adopted her, I mean, I have not measured her, but I guarantee you by tomorrow morning she'll at least have been like 3 inches longer from tail to nose than she was. She seems to be growing an inch a day, is what I'm saying. And I'm hoping she's a normal kitty and she's just going through that adolescent growth spurt, that cats do at about 3 months. But she's but she's a very she was very well fostered. So as you could tell, between all of that, um, getting work done. Oh God! Also, we had to update to a new version of Unity because the previous version we found out had security issues. And I mean, that's what we discovered was for about a previous version of Unity that we were using. For some reason, I had to reboot my computer and walk away and not even look at my computer if I wanted a PC version to build. And I thought, what the heck's going on with Unity? And it just turned out to be there was a fundamental flaw with that LTS version we were using. I'm sorry that we don't have much up here that you could look at other than just a window. Maybe I should put up something that's more interesting. But yeah, yeah, and so really, we're having to put off the release of the demo from November 17th to November 24th. Bottom line. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't look like we still have our view. Maybe we do. Yeah, maybe they got. Again, I tend to ramble, and that's why I sort of like it. If anybody's in chat, please say something, because otherwise, I'm just going to keep on going and going and going and getting off on tangents. But that's why I should write notes. I'll write notes right now. Let's write notes. Let's put on some note writing music. Okay. Let's see. I'll just say music for writing casual notes. We're living in the future. There we go. Classical music for writing. Okay. Or writing essays and reports. Concentration music gets me a little bit more interesting than classical. So let's see what we got. Yeah, there we go. That's good music for writing an outline. So let's see, just gonna be. Oh, yep. Let's see, there's code. All right, so I'm still getting used to Windows 11. By the way, it's sort of annoying in so many ways, but you got to do what Windows does. Have I ever considered switching to Mac? Absolutely not. We have 2 Macs. We used to have 3. And I will say, the Mac Mini we used for basically our TV box, my goodness, the Macs do last for quite a while. Still not worth their absurd price. IMHO. So anyway, outline. So we covered Liz, and let's just zoom in on the text. Licks. Oh, come on. Give her the Liz. We covered that. there was here's the thing. Look into what ulcer symptoms are, including every last one of them. But I don't know whether an ulcer could manifest. It may have been just my body going through mourning over Liz's passing. And laugh at me if you want. That, oh, I love my cat so that much that I physically, absolutely, I loved her that much. Absolutely. And let me see, our adoption. And revised release date for demo, which is November 24th. Now, what we should just keep this, I would like to just go over a brief history, and we're going to keep this brief because I tend to, go back into like, oh my goodness, this happened. But no, we're going to keep it really quick. Brief history. Bedroom project. For those who don't, I should just go over it from the beginning. Let's say going viral. And by the way, Mom, if you're watching this, because I know you watch some of my videos, and not all of my videos are about, how much I hate Donald Trump. Sorry, I don't like pedophile. Just don't. Call me crazy. Anyway, going viral, and then there was the scam years. Recovery and subsequent work, because really, anyway, subsequent and a recovery. What we took advantage of, and then what the game is now. Okay. So the brief history and actually no. What the game is now should actually be actually no. You're saying actually too much. What the game is now, and let's see what to expect. Oh, and by the way, is an outro. I'll put this at the very, very end as an outro. Because like I went through in one of my previous videos, we have a lot of self-appointed people, AI police, and I want to go through the books, because one of the things that I'm particularly proud of is we have over 800 pages of readable content within this game, including almost probably over 20 books by now, etc. And I guarantee you're going to have some people, these kids coming up, because they have nothing better to do. AI detection in novels. They're going to say, oh, they were able to do all of this because they used AI. Lol. No, we're going to go over that. So really, I want to take care of something really quick. I want to check on the kitten, and I will come back. And you know what? This music in the background is so morose. We're going to put on something a little bit more upbeat in the background. Now that I'm on YouTube, I can actually play music without... I don't like streaming on Twitch because you can't play any music without them, because Jeff Bezos, of course, can't monetize anything. Anyway, we've gone over that many times. I see somebody's chatted here. Thank you, D-Killer here. I appreciate that. If we have more people watching, I appreciate everybody here. I'm going to go away for a bit, and when I come back, we are going to, number one, actually, before I even leave, we're going to put on something a little bit more upbeat as far as music is concerned, because this is just, it's a cross between funeral music and the stuff that I put on to sleep at night, Actually, there's this guy that I really like, Selçuk Celebi. I don't speak Turkish. This is Turkish guy, and he does these 10-hour videos that are just ambient sort of things, mostly sci-fi, post-apocalyptic things. The one with radio chatter, man, I love those. Let me see. I'm just going to do my mixes. We can see, because Yeah, we'll just put on a little bit of Death in Rome while I'm away, and I'll be back in about 30 to 45 seconds. I want to go to the restroom. I want to refresh my beverage, and I still have plenty of cheese for when I get back. So don't worry about that, guys and gals. I will be right, like I said, 30 to 45 seconds to those fewer. And by the way, again, thanks to those who thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So. Yeah. Anyway, uh, bring that down there. And by the way, that band that's playing here, at Death in Rome here. Um, Let me see. I'm going to turn it. If I just pause here. Yeah, that's a Buto performance. Buto, if you don't know, is a Japanese performance style. It's intentionally bizarre. Uh, this is Death in Rome, who, by the way, want to do an original track for Peace Island. This group. I started a discussion with them last year, but unfortunately, I just got so bogged down with all the things that I never followed up with them. Since then, they've toured in like China and released a few things. And I mean, of course, they tour in China. So if you just look, anyway, they're pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to put on something that's a little bit more ambient in the background. That's a little bit more, upbeat. Maybe, yeah. Actually, is it Kathy's song? Kathy's song, and they do some very long specs of those. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Hopefully, if anybody's still watching this, let me know if this is like overpowering. If the background music, I don't know. Let me know what my balance is, and you just let me know. So, number one, I'm going to turn the music down in my headphones a little bit. By the way, I got these Bose headphones. I lost my pair, and a generous supporter replaced them. I love these things. Not that I'm going to advertise, but Quiet Comfort. So if anybody's watching, please in the chat let me know if the audio, if you can hear the music in the background. I'd like to have a decent mix while I go over this. But like I said, now that we have a background, an actual not background, but an outline, I'm pretty sure we could keep on target with this. Say so. Yeah, this is all stuff that we've taken care of. Liz, I was ill over the last 2 weeks have been really, really just trying. I won't even go into the stuff that I was going through. And also, has put on a new medication regimen, head medication regimen. It's like, and on top of that, here in Maine, we went through. Spot on, thank you. Here in Maine, we recently went through the daylight savings time switch, and here in Maine, we have some of the latest, earliest sunsets here in the country. I think, maybe there are parts of the, upper peninsula in Michigan, or upper Wisconsin that may have earlier. But here in Maine, we have the earliest ones in the country, and all of a sudden, you got to realize, oh yeah, by 4:15, it's dark, and most people when they get out of work up here, it's already dark it's nighttime. So all of that is just, again, that delayed us for a week. I wish I could take 2 weeks, but really, maybe I should. Let me know what you think in the chat. So anyway, let's go into the brief history of Peace Island. I'm, as I always do, and I'm not going to get lost in the woods here. I'm going to go through my big thing of screenshots while we're talking about this. So we're not going to go through all 1,900 of them, but it's just something better to show you than just have text, up on my screen. So let me see. Not 2D art. These island screenshots. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the whole thing about, okay, why can't I see it in window? Okay, photos. Again, I'm getting used to Windows, which we're just in an image viewer. Hopefully I can switch through yeah, I could do this. On November 17th, as the legend goes, in 2017, I had finished the laundry and everything, and recently one of our cats, Zach, she was mostly Laura's cat, but he had passed away, and I was really struck about how it had affected me. I had only known him for about half of his life, but I was really affected by it, and I don't know. We had been talking for years. Laura and I really like going out to the Casco Bay Islands because one of the neat things about here in Portland is that we have a ferry terminal. You can go. You can get on a boat and go to islands, and get away from the city without getting in a car and such. And we used to go out there so many times, just hang out. We still do, not as much as we used to, because we're now working on this game. Pretty much full time. Over full time in my case. I work. Let's not go. But anyway, when he passed away, I just, that Saturday I said, now is the time. We've been talking about making a video. Let's just start. Oh God, my headphones are saying that I'm low in power. Guys, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to keep that powering through the music, and I'm going to get rid of my headphones because you'll be able to hear me just as well without my headphones. So I'm sorry, Grandpa Eric has got to do that. I thought they were charged. I had them plugged in for about 20 minutes. So we're going to continue this. I will be right back. I'm not even going to go to the waiting screen. Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully that music is still going along the standard thing. And tell you what, by the time we get to, probably by the end of this quick history, I can get my headphones again. They'll charge about 20% or thereabouts. But anyway, yeah, I started work on this, and it was a bedroom project. We literally had no budget. I knew maybe 10% about Unity as I did now, but I was just like, I will learn. That's the way I always was. There were so many times where I got a job at some media company, and they were like, "Do you know this software?" And I was like, "Well, give me some time. Give me about 20 minutes." There's so much that's universal among creative software such as Photoshop, After Effects, InDesign, etc., etc. Maybe my mind is wired that way, but anyway. And you can see how old Unity this was, because the Unity interface this was back in the day. What version was it? Doesn't even have it up on top like it used to. but we had no budget. I had created a video game before, but it was just a simple iPad game for cats. But what happened was, is I heard the story of the guys who did No Man's Sky, and if you're unaware, the people who did No Man's Sky, the game they did previous to that was the most simple platformer you could imagine. It was this silly, just racing sim, a motorcycle racing sim. Hi. Oh, okay. My Gramps, thank you. Yeah, the thing is, well, let's not get off on tangent. I appreciate the sentiment. Somebody said I deserve two full weeks off. That's a tangent I could get off on. About the victory onions we used to use, tie them around our waist. Anyway, that was the old days. That was a style in those days. But I knew what we wanted to do because Laura and I on about our 100 times out there. Every time we were out there, we're like, yeah, this could be that, this could be that, and it's all about this. And literally from the very beginning, I didn't know. We like I said, we had no budget. We did so we back then there might be spawning systems now that are for free, but back then we didn't. So I literally the first version of Peace Island, I sat down and for 6 months, 9 months, I laid out every rock, every tree, everything individually, one by one. But you'll see here, you see, I did have a spawner, but it was like so flawed, it would just spawn it above the terrain. And what I would do is literally go through, I would reposition all of those trees one by one. And if I got 200 done a night after I came home from Ananias, at that time I was working at a restaurant called Ananias, and I was doing like 11-hour shifts. But if I came home and after about, a half hour of relaxation, if I could come back here and I could place 200 trees by hand, I was like, we got one step closer. You know what I'm saying? And you can see back in the day, let me see if we zoom in. Instead of the tower at the center of the island, there's just another lighthouse. Because back then I was just like placeholders. Everything is going to be a placeholder. This is all except for the road system and a few other things, as things like came to like being. But anyway, let's not get lost along the woods. What happened is about 9 months after I started, I launched a Kickstarter because at that time what we had was uh, these are still just me placing all of this stuff, and I painted the ground, and let's see. But anyway, you can see all these thousands and thousands of things. And by this point, the reason I did this, and you can see over here on the upper left, there's actually a little other island. Back in the day, this actually, you were going to travel to, there's going to be the big island, then the small island, and then you travel around to the lighthouse up here. So it was like, this is like the first part, the second part over here, and that would give you, but no, we got rid of these because it was just, it just didn't work. It just didn't work story wise. But anyway, after doing this for about 9 months, I started a Kickstarter because we had the basis of a story. We had a coder I was working with in Greece at that time who was like literally just, hey, I got $50. I'm going to hire this guy to take care of it, create a system for this. Yeah. And you can see it just bit by bit. And oh, I love this little road. I mean, what was sort of sad about this is everything was randomly placed, but sometimes it created some really nice, just natural scenery. But over the course of development, I had to go in and remove this because buildings had to go there. So I sort of saw, what we do to nature. I did to nature what humanity does. You see, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, let's see here. Oh yeah, we're just going through this. So and the first Kickstarter failed because I shot too high, and I said, okay, well here's the thing. What say you give me just about a quarter that amount of money to make a demo? and I succeeded. And what that success meant in that circumstance was I only had to work I was used to working 60 plus hours a week at the restaurant I worked at that time. This allowed me to scale back to about 40 to 45 hours a week. So I had, maybe a full day off. If I was really lucky, 2 days off in a row where I could work on the game. And you can see here, I literally just started just placing rectangle cubes where things were supposed to be and just building it bit by bit. And one of the things is you can see here all these screenshots. Why did I take so many screenshots? Because I knew along the way, and it's absolutely true that this happens, is you're going to lose. Let me tell you, if any game devs in the future are watching this, understand there are going to be so many days that come along where like I'm making no progress. This is garbage. I'm getting nowhere. If you take screenshots of just every day of what you've done, you can go back a week, a month, or just a few days and see, no, I've made progress. So that's what I did. I was just, and again, these are all placeholder buildings, but this is when downtown it started coming together. Yeah, and I use that money to finally get. Let me see. Finally get a vegetation spawner. Let's just skip ahead. Uh, let's just see. Let's. I think I'm falling off of my outline, guys. So let's go back here. So, oh yeah, okay. Bedroom project. So after a bit, I got enough like funding to scale my hours back and get a real vegetation spawner, and the real kick in the butt. I got this thing called Vegetation Studio Pro, and that in 10 seconds did a better job than I had done in the previous 9 months. That was a real kick in the butt. Um, but there are these Buddhist monks that do those really elaborate sand mandalas, and immediately when they're done, they just sweep them away. I felt because here's in the course of doing this, of doing all of this, all of these things that you see, I learned so much. I mean, I went from knowing about 10% of what I know now to about 25% of what I know now. And yeah, we started doing the first interiors. I'm trying to get to the point that we can, yeah. And Alan, let's not go into that. Sorry, I'm trying to get again to the point where, but essentially what happened was, when I got that money, I was able to work for about another 11 months. But I remember it was around June of 2019. So it had been almost 2 years since since I started working on it. We really, because Laura's helping. Um, so figure about 2 years after we started, we had expanded the game. We had taken this rough idea that we had and turned it into something, a real world with a few missions, a few. I think the first interior we had, and just a bunch of Oh, by the way, yeah, there's some houses in the game that are based on houses out on the islands. And anyway, but I think in August thereabouts. I just said, I thought I could get this done in about 6 months, a demo. Because really, we thought the whole game at that point was going to take about 12 hours to play total. It was just going to be a really short game. An open world adventure game where you run around, but it's going to be very short. But I told the people on Kickstarter, it doesn't matter. I was working on this game all these hours, with no funding before. I'm just going to go back to that. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to continue working on it. And you know what I'm going to do? Was that the screenshot? I'm just going to go straight ahead and get us to the point where I could get to where we have the new vegetation studio in, so we can see, how it got better over time. Screen. screenshots. Every time I just placed anything, I was just like, yep, gotta mark that. I just do the screenshot. Sorry, I think we broke. Yes, we have broken into the second era of Peace Island. So I'll just bring this up here. You can see it got a lot more detailed. But this is when we were using HDRP. We had to go back to SRP because we wanted the game to be really working optimally on as many systems as possible. So we went back to SRP. So a lot of these are HDRP. I'd like to go back to HDRP to BH. But anyway, enough initial. But you can see here, I went through a phase where I actually put the compass up on top, and there were like announcements. You've entered this area. People are like, get rid of that. I don't want it. I just like it running around. So yeah, yeah. At a certain point, you can see the quality of everything just becomes much more lush, and so much better. And yeah, oh my, those were the days. Yeah, but about a month after I came to our Kickstarter supporters, and I said it's going to take us a little bit longer. I won't let you down. Trust me, Peace Island's coming. Not come hell or high water. I was out on Peaks Island and I started getting a lot of emails. And long story short is what over the next 48 hours, I discovered that the project had gone viral via a Facebook post I had made the previous night. What happened was, as I posted a picture of what Peace Island had been a year before and where it was then. And it was on a place in Facebook called the Shocking Group of Denkato. And from there, I mean, I posted that. And a lesson in virality. If I had posted that exact same picture, set of picture, an hour before or an hour later, nobody would have ever probably seen it, or maybe that person would not have seen it, and it would have never splashed or made an impact anywhere. But because I posted it that time, over the next 72 hours, this Patreon that we had set up that was making maybe like $45 a month, it had gone viral. And within 72 hours, I was talking to my boss over at the deli about how this is my 2 week, goodbye. And a lot of people are like, why did you stay there? Because you had just gotten the funding to go work on your own video game. Honor. The guy had done well by me for many, many years. So I felt well because, oh my goodness. Anyway, long story. Ananias is its own story. But essentially, yeah, about 2 years after we'd started, it got to the point that both Laura and I could finally get new computers and work on this full time. And that was the going viral area. Now, and again, I'm going to try and keep this short. No, thank you. Somebody says aging like fine wine. Thank you so much. One of the things about going viral is that about your project really taking off is that you have no control over it. And even though your wildest dream is coming true, something, I mean, literally, if I had gone back to myself if I could go back in time and tell my 10-year-old self, there's going to come a time in your life, kid, when literally you're going to be living at home, working in your pajamas all day long on a video game about cats. I mean, I don't know. I would have completely altered the future, of course, or started an alternate universe or a number. But you know what I'm getting at. It was a dream come true. But here's the problem. You have no control over it. This was the beginning of the bot. I mean, not the beginning, but I mean, it was before generative AI and stuff like that. But still, at that point, so many articles were being written about Peace Island that were saying it's going to be available now or next week. None of these people ever talked to me. And nobody, I mean, out of the literally hundreds of articles that were being written in Serbia and Mexico and Russia, literally all around the world, all around the United States, no, maybe 5 of them got in touch with us and talked to us. And everybody else all around the world was being told this game that me and Laura had worked on in our spare time was ready to go. And can I tell you that is the most, when people ask me what it was like, it was exhilarating, but also absolutely terrifying because people were, I was scared. I was very, very scared. Um, and because what we had was just, a little bit of a story, a little bit of dialogue, a bunch of environmental storytelling, and a kitty controller that I had made that could do very little other than, walk, jump, and such. And this was before Stray, understand. This was, geez, that whole thing with Annapurna, we're not even going to get into that tonight. But that's a good segue into the scam years because let me tell you, when you're sitting there and and even though you're getting a lot of I mean, you're getting a lot of good press, more good press than you can deal with. I mean, literally, for about a month after the game went viral, every day I was just sending out premiums and answering emails. That was literally from the moment I got up. That was all it was. I couldn't work on the game itself, and Laura at that point, she was learning fast, but she was still in the early. I mean, she was still a couple of months behind me, so we were in a tough situation, and I was again very scared, and I mean that in the most existential way. I was sitting there with a pair of pliers ripping at my skin, man. No joke. I didn't feel that I was misrepresenting anything. I felt that there was, because really, again, at that time, we only want to make this little game. 12 hours game, and we knew that we could do it eventually because it would only require, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway. And now all of a sudden, I mean, I was being thrust into this. I was getting phone calls from Xbox, from Activision, from Ubisoft, and I was being. I mean, I knew the video game industry was the biggest entertainment industry on the planet, and I had suddenly. I mean, a guy that was a line cook at a deli, and a woman that was a care worker at a nursing home were suddenly in the limelight of the biggest biggest entertainment industry on the planet. And again, it was scary. But here's what happened one day. And I mean, I've told this story so many times, we're going to keep it very brief. Um, somebody got in touch with me and they said, they told me a very good story about they had worked for a bunch of companies and they had worked on the Thief franchise. And they had a very good story, and all of it was true. They had worked on all these companies. They had worked on some very classic level design, and they said they know all the best people, and they know how this business works. Your character controller isn't where you'd like it to be? Great. I can get you in touch with the best character controller person. I know somebody. Trust me. And my friend here, Mike, it's Bonafide. Mike. Anyway, he knows a lot of back end stuff. And again, at that point, if I could, this is another time where I wish I could go back in time and talk to myself and go, listen, Eric, everything that got you to the point that you are now is everything that you need going forward. There's no need to be scared. You can do it. But but I don't know. One of the things I learned, another thing is that you learn in game development is that it's all on you. And there's, I mean, really, if you're looking for somebody to a shoulder to cry on or somebody to lean on, oh my goodness. Good luck. Good luck. No, you're not going to get any of that. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast. But anyway, these guys, I brought them on because they did, their resumes checked out. And over the next 18 months, and I say 18 months rather than the full 2 years they were with us. Um, during for the first 6 months when I was just dealing with all the publicity and such that was required for the game and taking care of postage and literally every Monday I would have to spend an entire day just packaging postcard sets. Hold on for a moment. Every postcard set that we have sent, the thousands I have collated and sent out individually, all the hundreds upon hundreds of prints, if not thousands, I have sent them all, and I'm still sending them all. But anyway, so for the first 6 months, they sort of helped out. They were able to get the game broken up into a sector streaming system. They're able to implement, a few things that I did not at that time. And again, at that time, I would say I knew about a third of what I know now. And it seemed everything was kind of cool for the first 6 months because they were taking care of just converting the game from our very primitive, just put together thing into something more streamlined that would work across more platforms and more efficiently. And I'm going to check every day. Yeah. Demand outgrows design. Yeah. It's Wayne. Don't thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm sorry, I had to check on the chat over there. So anyway, and again, I'm going to keep this brief, and I really want to get it done in about 4 sentences. These guys systematically ripped us off and did everything that they could to sabotage and make sure the project never got done. I have no one but myself to blame. I have done videos about 2 of the individuals involved. You can see them on my channel, and I'm going to do a video about the third, not out of vindictiveness, but because people need to know. Understand the time. I realize now that the time that Peace Island was going viral and getting a lot of attention was about the same time that the big studios started releasing a lot of the creatives and programmers in favor of giving more bonuses to the people in the boardrooms. So there were a lot of people out there that had suddenly lost their jobs, that were used to getting paid $100 an hour to, quite frankly, sit on their butts and make up excuses. Were looking for work. And for 18 months, for about 2 years, I was gaslighted and ripped off. But here's the thing. Number one, while these guys, in fact, one of them was systematically deleting my work, every bit of work that I did. They told me I was just using the versioning system we're using wrong. But after I finally fired him, all of my work stopped disappearing. So this guy was literally, anyway, I don't want to get, again, it gets me very anxious and very angry, and I don't want to go into all the details. But when I finally got rid of those people, I looked at what we had. We had basically, in practical terms of getting the game done, had not advanced one bit in 18 months. Because these guys were making excuses. Every bit of work that Laura and I did was being systematically deleted. And anyway, I remember in that early winter in 2022 when basically at a certain point we hired a new coder, guy by the name of Lance, down in Tijuana, Mexico, of all people. And that brings us into recovery because Lance joined the team because we needed a new controller. I could write a tragic opera about how getting the cat controller never ever got truly done, and it's sad. But we're going to go into that a little bit later. I'm sorry if this is going on too long. Tell me to just step up. But let me see. When Lance came in, I was used to giving to work to Mike Bonafide, and him just sitting on it for a week. And when I complained, his friend Mike Shiranovsky, who goes under the name of Amy Elizabeth Shiranovsky, would just make excuses. Eric, you don't understand. You're used to doing things wrong. We know how to do things right. So it takes a little bit longer. So literally it would take Mike Bonafide something. I mean, to do a menu, it would take him a week. But when Lance joined us, he just said, Eric, I got to break it to you. These guys have been ripping you off. And it took me if you've ever been the victim of a confidence scam, it is a very, very, very hard thing to admit to yourself. And that's what confidence scammers depend on. Again, I don't mind calling out those three people: Brett Dunham, Mike Bonafide, and Mike Shiranovsky, who now goes under the name of Amy Elizabeth Shiranovsky. Those three people are just people who, again, and I have no one else to. As much as I scream about those people, it is all on me. I hired them. I was gaslighted to the point, at one point, I literally handed over lead developer role over to one of them. But anyway, when we finally got rid of them, and I sat there, and I remember it was February, and I realized one of the people hadn't even done the house colliders. They just put a block. And I realized everything had to be done. Now, here's the thing. At that point, it had been 2 years that since the game had gone viral, a little bit over 2 years. And well over 1,000, if not 2,000 people at that point had contributed toward making Peace Island. I had two choices. I could either say, sorry, this is not going to get done, or we can return to what it always should have been. Me, Laura, and a coder. Working in our bedrooms, not dealing with any. And that is when work started again. I went through, I redid every bit of work that I suspected, I thought these guys had been doing. And again, I mean, it's enough to realize, oh my God, I had been scammed. But again, when I started doing work and uploading it to the server, and all of a sudden, magically, it was no longer being deleted. And I had to come to the realization that I was literally paying somebody that was set. 2022 was a hard year. But it was also the year that recovery happened. We took this broken mess, and Laura and I just methodically started, bit by bit, doing all that stuff again. Because what are we going to do? Just we're going to become another one of those failed projects, one of those scammers, these people who just started something on Kickstarter and never came around? Pardon me. Maybe I'm lactose intolerant now. Who knows? No, and also I love this game. Understand? there's a phrase that I mean, hopefully Muslims will not take offense at this because, but the Muslims in the Quran they have this phrase that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. That God is closer to you than your jugular vein. That is how I would describe Peace Island to me. This is something that I have poured every moment of my waking life for almost 5 years into, and I could not walk away. And if nothing else, every day that I got up and continued working was a big glowing middle finger to those bastards who tried to destroy this thing that Laura and I had poured our so much time and so much effort and so much money into. So we started again. Laura took over as the person who dealt with the dialogue and the quest building. Um, I just started redoing. The first thing I did was I redid the telephone poles and the walkable cables. And one of the things that helped me was that was also the when I started streaming. I think you'll start if you go back all the way on YouTube, you'll see one of the first ones that I did there. I think back in that year. And here's the thing: during the time we went viral, um, we thought we could make the game a bigger thing than that little 12-hour experience. And also because, like I said, every time I tried working on the game itself, my work would magically disappear because I was told, "Oh, you don't understand Perforce." Anyway, all that time, Laura and I never stopped. We continued writing. Um, I remember for a week we went through every inhabitant on the island. We have a project wiki. We went through every former human on the island and wrote their entire life stories from beginning to end. I mean, if every detail about this game, about every, jeez, we wrote a hell of a lot of backstory and story for this, because unfortunately, here's the thing: somebody recently tried to stream Peace Island, and they asked if we would have. I mean, will we have a better cat controller like they do in Stray, where you're able to do fancy moves? And I had to say yes, we wanted that. Back in 2017, I thought we could do that. When we went viral, I thought we could do that. But again, if you want me to go through those 18 months where we went from person to person, just scamming me over and over and over, we did not get a final controller working for this game until about a year ago. And as a result, that's the most. At the beginning, I wanted the cats to be able to climb trees. I wanted the cats to be able to bounce off of walls and do parkour stuff. But when every time another scammer screws you and leaves, you're stuck with nothing. And you try to bring on somebody else, they'll say, "Well, I have to rebone the cat. I have to reanimate it. I have to." And every time, it's a months-long process. And so what we had, and like I said, we took advantage of the time to create the deepest story that we possibly could. I mean, I say in the demo alone, I know. Oh, we don't like reading. We like this. We wanted this game from the very beginning, never to be an action game. We wanted a game where it was like it was a relaxing game, a game that you could like curl up in a book, in a warm blanket with, and read a book for 20 minutes if you wanted to. You didn't have to read the whole thing. We want or just read them. Maybe you read a magazine article or see something on a calendar or something, and and that will pique your interest. And we create a whole bunch of stories for each of the islanders: the romance story, the adventure story, the occult story, the Stranger Things sort of story, the time travel, all these things. And we tied them all together as tightly as we possibly could. Creating Peace Island at this point is like creating a watch. We have so many, it is so many little parts working together, story wise. And I know, but right now we have a walking simulator, with you can drive around and you'll explore. It's exploration. And if you're observant, you'll see a lot of things. I mean, there's a little puzzle in there right now, a little event. You literally will have to play it for about, I would say, about a week's time before you start noticing the patterns of something you see. If you only look at a certain time of day, we create, again, this very clockwork story. And in the beta, what we are trying to, what we're producing for you right now is an introduction to this story. It isn't the first act of the game, but the first act of this game is all about you learning about all the people that lived on the island. There will be at least one instance of a mention of everybody that lived on the island, and you will know where they are and perhaps their connections with other people. There are also, I think at this point, about 13 or 15 random events, that spawned events that happen from time to time, that include more story. There are a bunch. There are about, I think right now, about 50 quest beginnings, or like beta quests. We On my list of stuff to do is for me and Laura to sit down for a few days and go through all of the dialogue and stuff, because trust me, in all of the 800 pages that I created, we made sure that everything locks together as tightly as possible, and there's no gaps, and every date, everything go is related, and such. And geez, well, like I said, so many. We have 3 magazines at this time. I think about a dozen books. And let's see. Look over here. Actually, let's go open recent. Dang it! What are you doing? After Effects. Yeah. Let's see. Is this the novel? Oh, actually, no. This is one. Let's see here. Yeah. Say I mean, here you'll know. In some of the books, you'll notice that some of the words are a different color, and that's its own thing. There are just so many different things that. Anyway, like it's. Uh, we sort of compare it like with Myst, with more walking. The game Myst. But you can go out hunting and such. And if we're so lucky as to get some more funding from either a publisher or from Steam early access purchases, we want to expand our animation palette. We want more actions and such. But right now in the beta, like I said, there's about an hour of audio. There's a radio program. There's a podcast you can listen to, an audio book, and a whole bunch of various things you can hear on it. There are about, I'd say, hopefully we're going to have about a half hour of video all told. Hold on for a moment. Laura, can I help you? Okay. Let's see here. And like I said, so many books, so many things. If you pay attention, you'll see. And here's the thing: is we realize this is not going to be exciting for everybody. Some people are going to be disappointed, and we're very sorry about that. But if anybody's disappointed, we hope they get in touch with us and let them know what they want to see, because we're still in demo right now. It's things are still pliable. And yeah, if nothing else, if you want to experience everything that's in our demo, it will take you 8 to 12 hours, and that's more than most indie games have in their total experience. And you don't have to read all of the books. You don't have to read all the magazines. You don't have to see everything. But it sort of helps if you do. Um, now, yeah, let's see here. If anybody's chatted. Oh, huh, Maurice McCarry is best writer ever. Thank you. Yeah, when I saw the first post about Peace Out forwarded to me. Oh, thank you, Mario. I'm sorry. Uh, so I think I've said a heck of a lot, but yeah, I probably haven't covered everything that I wanted to. But we want to. There is a lot more that we want to include, and there's a reason for everything that you could see in there. The one thing is that I want to get the new deer in. We have better deer, but we're having some serious material problems with that. The material, as in the material that covers the mesh. It seems when we bring the new deer in, the old deer lose their textures. But anyway, I'm going to go get my headphones and put us on pause again for a bit, and I will be right back to do just like I did a while ago. I did this thing where just showed how we were doing some of the illustrations for one of the books you can find at Peace Island, so that to preempt again the self-appointed AI police that are going to accuse us of, oh, that's just AI. Because of course I can't conceive that somebody would care about a project so much that they would actually go through all the effort of writing all of that. That says more about them than it does about us. Sorry to say. But yeah, let's just see here. Yeah, this is another book. Yeah, Scotty, we want to, anyway, so much stuff. Let's see. Anyway, like I said, I need to step away for a bit. I will be right back. And by the way, if anybody has any questions or comments about Peace Island, feel free to say that, ask them, or just heck, if you know any good recipes or seen any good TV shows or movies lately, feel free to put it in there. But there was one last thing I wanted to say, but I lost track of it again. My brain is cycles of stupidity. But I will be right back, ladies and germs. In the interim, I'll just put on another Death in Rome song. Why not? I like myself some Death. Let's see. And the really weird thing about that band is there are two other neo-folk bands. One of them is called Death in June, and the other one is called Rome. So but I found there's actually a novel. It's based on a novel called Death in Rome. I tried reading it, but it's an English translation of German, and to me, it may have been translated by a French person, because anybody who's read, mid 20th century French literature, they know how it flows and just is very, plastic. But I'm going to put this on, and I will be back in just a few minutes, because I actually want to eat a cracker, but I don't want to eat a cracker on camera. So let's see here. Oh yeah, why not? Love will tear us apart. This is the first tune I discovered by them, because they were like, man, these guys are doing the best, Joy Division cover I've ever heard. My goodness. Oh yeah.
When routine bites hard and ambition's all low and resentment rides high, no timing that flows. All our respect runs so dry. Yet there's still this appeal that we get through our lives. But love will tear us apart again. Love will tear us apart again. Do you cry out in your sleep? All my failings exposed. There's a taste in my mouth. This desperation takes hold. This is something so good. Just can't function no more. Love will tear us apart again.
Oh yeah. By the way, yeah. Yes. Let's see. Well, we can keep that running.
Love will tear us apart again.
Turn it down a bit, some. Let's see. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. The White House tomorrow. That's the song I got in touch with them about. I should put that on. And by the way, guys, gals, and everybody, buy music. Go to Bandcamp if you like an artist. Get rid of your Spotify account. I have not used Spotify in probably 13 years. When I found out how little the artists are getting paid, go to Bandcamp and buy your art. Buy the music you listen to, please. Because even on, I mean, these streaming, they get paid from streams on YouTube. No, they don't. No. Go. It's so. I mean, come on, please. Yeah. Oh my goodness. By the way, Sopor Eternus. Boy, I discovered her. She's like her own person, man. She's crazy. No, she's not crazy. She's just incredibly talented. She's like a female gothic Trent Reznor from. Actually, no, and she's something beyond female or male. She's just she is. Let's see. Anyway, yeah. Let's see here. So, just if you don't know, Sopor Eternus. She's the most gothy of the gothy German gothitans, as you can see. I mean, let's see. This is one of her more attractive like publicity shots. She takes they take pride in being just as bizarre as possible. What is wrong with me? My brain is shutting off. But yeah, while we're doing this, I wanted to just pre-up this because, like I said, we're going to get this, and I've been wanting to do this for a bit, so I'm going to sign off. Does anybody? Yeah, Twitch streamer Sally Wallach. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah. Dude, Wayne, it's all good. It's all good. We actually have. I mean, not to steal your job or anything. Not that anybody's taking your job, but there's a woman who's like caught a lot of stuff, and I was going to release a new version yesterday until I realized there because we updated a new version of Unity. There was a problem with the cats getting to the top of the boxes in Nick's house at the very beginning. There was, and also the drones, the archive drones, are still not spawning as they should, and I don't because they were before. And I got halfway of a fix done with that today, and they're just some. We're having a mop up for a bit. I think the next version we're going to release is going to have all that sort of stuff fixed. Probably today is Monday, right? 10th. I would say give us. I'm going to ask for a little bit of generous time, and let's just do it. Hopefully on the 14th on Friday. But as I said, let's just preempt all these like AI detect. Oh, there you go, Soaport. Goodbye, Soapy. There she is. Oh, I was going to play music. Jeez, that's my ADD is just blaring. So keep it at a volume that hopefully is mixed well enough. This one's for us. This one's for us. Forget the rest. Say goodbye to those gray, gloomy skies. Anyway, gonna turn it down on this end. Let me know if the mix is like too loud, please. Okay. I just want to do this because again, I just hate people who, again, don't have the like impetus to create themselves and just set themselves as a AI policeman. So, what we're gonna do is it's AI text detection, right? Detection. Now, there's this, yeah, it was a GPT-0. Quillbot, I've discovered, is a little bit, like, more generous because I have done my own, like, plugging AI. Now, GPT-0 is a real, I don't want to say, tight-assed thing. I plugged in something I wrote, and it highlighted the word swirling as being AI generated. So everybody out there, if you use the word swirling, you better think again. Because that's going to be, you're using AI for everything, as they would say. So what we're going to do here is, like I said, we're going to do a test. This is a crystal pawn. Let's take a random page. Let's just feed this in and see if any of this is AI. Any of the books that we wrote is AI. Let's see, scan. Human. So there we go. Let's do about 5 more. Let's see. Just go to the ones we Kelly. Yeah. Let's. Actually, why not? This one is mostly made up of. It was. Somebody ran either just a podcast about cat care or a advice column. They wanted a book in the game, and let's just take their stuff. Maybe their AI. Let's go. Scan it, baby. Human. Let's go to a next one down our. Actually, this is just a menu that you find in one of the locations of the game. But why not? Hey, let's go. We won't even count this toward our 5. Let's see. There we go. Scan. Human, wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know somebody cared about their project enough to actually write books for it? Anyway, let's just go. So we're going to go back to books. Let's go to one of the ones that I wrote specifically. In fact, I wrote most of these. Desiree Lawrence and Strange Occurrence. Is that the one? We only have one of the versions? Why not? Let's see. Sorry for the screaming at the end of the song. You can't hear it, but anyway, at the end of that song. Let's see. Let's just grab that. Open it on the page. GPT-0. So let's try 3 out of 5. Human. Oh. We're not 100%. Let's see. What did it think is AI in here? 2% mixed. What? Oh, one of the things is that it's bringing across this weird, the ASCII code for the quotation mark that's appearing as AI. But I was getting a secondary reflection off of the wall, and I wouldn't get an accurate reading of power fluctuations. You're blocking it now. She took a small step forward is highlighted specifically. So that's a, I don't get these things. Anyway, let's move on. So it said again, I'm happy. Okay, it said, oh, 2 or 3 advanced scans left. But no, we're not. We're just using the regular scan. So let's see. We're gonna go to the next book. Desiree, Strange Occurrence. There is the other one that I was really proud of that one. That was the first one that I wrote because it had that perfect loop in it. But let's just go here. Cookbooks. We don't want to do the cookbooks. Let's see. Isabella. Yeah. Ugarellian found a lamp down at the deli. Here we go. Just going to grab the pages that we are on. Sure. Let's scan it. Wouldn't you know? So that's 4 out of 5. Let's just take another one. It's all, again, I wrote this stuff. Every one of these books. And I mean, again, when these people, oh, you did, yeah. Screw you. Come on. Just try. Lindsay June keeps tune. Yeah. Yeah. Grab, all right, these pages right here. Let's go, last scan. Human. So I just wanted to do that. I've been meaning to do that for the longest time. Simply, again, because there are those self-appointed people out there. Hey, I can't create anything, so I'm just going to accuse everybody who can create. You know what I'm saying? I could go on for the... Let's just do a... No, actually, I'm out of... GPT-0 says I'm out of free scans. So let's do one last one using Quillbot. Let's see. Because I'm confident. I know because I wrote every one of these damn things. Why am I here? My info job. Looking for images. I'm looking. There we go. Yeah, Alex, here. Here we go. Beep. Excuse me. Sorry. Just those. Paste text. There you go. There you go. That's all I could say. If anybody out there wants to, like, literally go through Peace Island and transcribe the text from any of the articles, any of the books, and feed it through an AI detector, mazel tov. If that's all you have to do in your life, and go right ahead. Again, we wrote this stuff. Like I said, those 18 months that those scammers were trying to destroy the project, we never wasted our time. We did all of this stuff because, you know, that's pretty much all we could. So let me see. I think I've gone on now for about 2 hours. 90 minutes. I think it's it's 8:06. It's time to feed the kitten. Anybody want to see if I can bring in our new kitten for just a little bit of screen time? I think I'm going to try and do that because I'm very proud of the cat that we adopted, Opal. She is a perfect inheritor of She is very energetic tonight. Doing downsies. Okay, come on, downsies. Go. I think I have a feeling the music was loud while I was like yelling about the AI detection. But anyway, actually, here's the... It's so superfluous. We used to feed our cats every day at 8 o'clock, but really, since Liz passed away, we realized that was mostly a ritual for her. So I don't think we. It's getting adjusted. Again, you lose a cat you've had for 16 years, and all of a sudden, all these routines and everything just stops. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I see no questions or concerns or anything, and those who tuned in, I really appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, let me just turn this off because I want to end this with like some coherent thought. Where in the heck is that window? Sorry. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll just face that out. So we don't have the. Yeah. Let me see. A good way to bring this all to an end is hold on. What was that? Okay. I just heard a siren go off, which is anyway very similar to the beginning of the White House tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, there are sirens going on. You expect. Let's see. We created the best we could, and with what we had. And again, the really sucky thing about those 18 months is I have nobody but myself to blame. And that is, I mean, people are like, Eric, you should take time off. Because I literally, I work 7 days a week, usually 10 to 11 hours a day. And I don't know, people say, hey, you should take some time off. And trust me, I do take a half hour off a day to play RimWorld. Oh my God, RimWorld. I could play that until I die. But anyway, there's this thing in my family. Okay, and this is getting beyond. In my family, it's kind of weird. I grew up with parents that never ever got up in the morning and went to a job. Uh, Throughout their lives, whenever they needed money, they started a business. The last, when we lived in Tennessee, they were really low on cash. My father wasn't able to get commissions from his, usual West Coast crew because we used to live in Oregon, and they started a quilt business. And I think about I mean, gross. I don't know what they were making gross. I mean net, but gross. They were making a heck of a lot. And after that died down, they just got into eBay and started selling stuff on eBay. And in my family, we don't go out and look for jobs. We go out and we start businesses. And this is the biggest thing I've ever done and worked on in my life. I mean, I worked on comic book series. I worked on so many things. Like, but really, they were all just so boring. They were just all so boring. I mean, one of the last jobs I did as a media worker before I went to work as a person at the deli. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Was like it was longer than the entire Lord of the Rings series. I had to do an orientation educational video for people who worked at Wakefern Foods Corporation that was like 9 hours long. And boy, I worked on that for over a year. This I've worked on for 8 years, and I really, really, yeah, this is how it should end. I was really hoping we'd have more after this much time, but I mean, the control we have is fine, but it's limited by the number of animations that we have. Um, there are going to be bugs all over the place, but all I can say is we did our damnedest with what we had, every step of the way. And well, again, if you want to blame me for the time that we were scammed for 18 months, sure enough, I blame myself every day. But in a world where there are so many people who try to like start a video game and and just try and get money on Kickstarter and then just fail and just walk away with, hey, at least I was able to pay my rent for 8 months, or so. It's never been that way with me. I mean, at a certain point, if you don't know, at the very end of the scam years, there was a certain point where I needed a root canal, and I literally went back to work at that restaurant part time, so the people who are contributing to the Patreon didn't have to pay for my root canal. Every penny that we get is spent on the game. Laura and I, if you think we're making it off rich, right now we're making. I mean, if Portland minimum wage right now in the city of Portland is $15 an hour, I think really, if you take in all the hours, I make about $8 an hour because I work about, like I said, 70. Peace Island is the biggest thing I've ever worked on it, and I'm never going to give up on it until I mean, there's absolutely no other choice other than like living on the street and and begging for change. And hopefully, once we get this demo out, some publisher is going to either show interest, and I doubt there will be one because I think I said at the very beginning this was always going to be a project that was about relaxation, about exploration, about thinking. It was never about action or something. And I don't think many video game companies publishers are into that sort of thing. And if we don't make enough money on early access, heck, we'll just. I figure we'll know that around mid to January or at the beginning of January of next year. And you know what I'll do is I'll just find some other job or some other way, and I'll continue working on Peace Island until it is done. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting a little bit woozy in the head and a little bit rambly. So I'm going to go. I think it's time for me to go and eat dinner. I'm hypoglycemic. So I'll say good night. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Hey, see you soon. That's all I can say. Bye bye.